Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us. Welcome to the Why Doesn't My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met through our training and practice of relational life therapy. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for therapy. If something you hear in this podcast stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
Today's question:
why does my partner lie about little things?
I love this question.
I love this question because it's so common.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking like you turning it like I have lied about little things. Why do I do that when I do that? And I think there's two reasons. We're either avoiding grief. So I'm avoiding disappointment, right? I'm avoiding some moment of,
oh, that's not going to feel good if I tell you. Yeah.
Right? Or we're avoiding discord. I'm going to tell you something you don't like. And so instead of telling you something you don't like, I'm going to kick that can down the road.
Yeah, because right when you said avoiding grief, I was thinking my grief or my partner's grief.
It doesn't matter, right?
Exactly.
It's the avoidance of both sides of that.
And I think of those actually as a Venn diagram because grief equals discord so often and discord equals grief so often. So I think of it probably as both and rather than either or.
So if the problem is that we're avoiding, whether it's that we're avoiding the grief or that we're avoiding the discord, whether I'm afraid of disappointing you or I'm afraid of you being mad at me or I'm afraid of it's just not feeling good between us.
Yep.
It's the avoidance that and that fear of whatever that thing is on the other side that's really perpetuating this.
Yeah. And it's really easy from a brain perspective to fall into this one because you actually gauge pain closer to you in time as bigger than pain that's further out in time. So if which is worse right now, lying to you about this thing or dealing with the discord is worse right now, even though the pain would be bigger later on. My brain doesn't think about it like that because my brain is actually not super forward thinking. It takes a lot of regulation and prefrontal cortex function to get your brain to care about disaster 5 days from now versus disaster 5 minutes from now. That actually takes quite a lot of doing. So if you are someone who is habitually lying to your partner about little things, I just want you to know that when you try to solve this, I'm about to say more about the accountability piece that I think is so important in this question. But when you do try to solve this, just know it's actually going to be really hard because your brain is going to guess that the pain that you're avoiding is so huge that it's going to be worth that pain later on. And so your instinct is going to be to keep doing the old. just because of how your brain processes pain and time.
Mm-hmm. And that's a protection.
But then I'm thinking about, yeah, it is. And as we're talking about this, something's niggling at me a little bit in that it feels like we're making excuses a little bit. And I don't want to make excuses in any way for any kind of lie. There are 3 key ways of being to be really good at intimacy. I need to be empathetic. I need to be vulnerable, and I need to be accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important that if I'm the one who's lying about little things in the relationship, that I own up to that, get accountable for how that has affected the relationship, and really get on correcting it.
Mm-hmm. Accountability is it's vital in order to build a trusting, intimate space.
Right. Well, there's no real repair without it.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at the map of what healthy relationship looks like, it's a dance of harmony and disharmony and repair. And repair is the most important part if what you want is trust in a relationship.
I don't think we can speak about this enough. I think most just like, out there in the world, a lot of people conceptualize relationships as harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And if it's disharmony, I should run away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I should leave. We should break up because things don't feel good. That whole, like, what I see in my office, what I'm sure both of you see in your office, is this whole idea of harmony, disharmony, repair being a healthy relationship, like that whole package.
Right. And I think actually culturally, we have been sold. Like if it's it should feel good all the time if you're with the right one, if you're with the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and it's also most couples, if not all without coaching, not only do they not have a repair, but even the ones who, let's say, don't leave with the disharmony, they basically go harmony back to disharmony, back to harmony, back to disharmony, and kind of like shoving under the carpet or sweeping it under the rug. That's the cliche I was trying to use.
Shoving it under the carpet works too.
Whichever one. Not knowing that, like we said, in that repair is where the trust is built and the strength happens in the relationship.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So know when you are avoiding discord with your partner, if you're one of the people who's doing that, if you are avoiding discord, what you are doing is you are denying building trust in your relationship.
You're robbing your relationship.
You're sucking what it could air out of the room. I mean, like I think of relationships as these like biospheres, as these ecosystems, and the space between us, the air we both breathe. When we're lying in a relationship, it's creating a toxicity in that air, and it's not just your partner that's breathing it; you are too.
Totally. It's ecological.
Yeah.
Right, because we're in the system.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
But I want to turn it to the other side of this too. So let's say I'm with a partner who is lying about little things.
Yeah.
One of the U-turns that I think is worthwhile to think about is, am I contributing to an environment in any way where discord is unwelcome?
Or maybe, it's the environment where discord is unwelcome. Maybe I also need to be right a lot.
Where it's not okay for us to have a disagreement. Yeah. Or I'm thinking about like, what if I'm in a space where when something is going wrong, I fall apart and need a lot of taking care of really fast.
Or if I find out that if you tell me something that I don't like to hear, I'm going to really make a big deal about that. And I'm not going to let go of it. I'm going to hold on to it for a really long time. And you're going to keep hearing about it from me.
Am I creating punishment or grudge holding environments? So as you're thinking about, why would my partner lie about little things? It could be old habit. It could be they're scared of discord and it's totally their thing. But I think it's worth looking at the overall environment. And am I contributing anything that would make grief or discord super hard here and worth avoiding?
Which doesn't make it okay that your partner's lying to you.
Nope.
I just want to emphasize that's not what we're saying.
Nope.
The lies are not okay. It's just looking at your own role is still a healthy path to take.
It's always a healthy path to take.
Right.
Yeah. And when we're dealing with things that are frequent in a relationship. So sometimes, like, let's say my partner's never late, but he's late this one time and it's super important to me that he's on time, but he was late. But this is not a pattern. That's like a single event talk, right? But if it's a pattern, like they lie about little things a lot, then maybe it's time to go ahead and have what I like to call a meta conversation.
What's a meta conversation?
Well, it's a meta conversation is a conversation that happens when things are calm. That's one thing that's really important. I'm not going to bring it up in the middle of catching you in a lie. Nope. Calm everything down. Talk about it tomorrow or the next day. So one, I'm going to talk to you about when things are calm.
And it's also like the kind of conversation that you have more about, this is the dance we're in. This is the thing that happens.
That's right. So we're going to identify, and we don't want to do every bit of every dance we've ever been in a meta conversation. We want to hold it to one observation about a larger pattern. Right. And then I use Terry Real's the 4 steps of his feedback wheel to do a meta conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
So it goes like this. Here, the observation, story I made up about it, feeling, request. So the observation, so let's say I'm the one who's being lied to. So my observation would be, I've noticed that in our relationships, you are frequently lying to me about little things. The story I make up about it is
that I don't matter, or that
you're just not trustworthy.
I'll never be able to trust you.
You're going to lie about everything for the rest of our lives.
We shouldn't be together.
Yep.
Yep. You weren't the one for me after all. Whatever story it is you're making up. And then when I say the feeling, I keep to feeling words. So the story I make up is that I don't matter to you and that I'll never be able to trust you again. When this happens, I feel hurt and lonely and angry. Right. And then the request. And the request, especially when you're dealing with meta, is really helpful to be specific about what you want from them, but also to make an invitation for feedback about maybe your part in this overall thing. So when I'm doing my request, I might say, I'd like for you to tell me why, or if you haven't figured out why, to really think about it and figure out what's behind these lies for you. I'd like for you to acknowledge that this is not a healthy pattern with me. And I'd like for you to tell me if there's anything I'm doing that's contributing to you feeling like you need to lie. And then we wait and we see what happens. So that's an example of meta.
I love it.
Beautiful.
All right. Go for it.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all. That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at our bootcamp. You'll find the next date at whydoesmypartner.com.